Hello students, welcome back to your video session. So students, in the last class we have discussed about the process of irrigation, okay, and the different types of irrigation that we do, including that mode system, chain pump, Dekli, Rahat, okay, and using the pumps, the sprinkler system and the drip system, okay. So all of you go through your books and write down the notes, write down the question answers, and if you are having any doubt in those question answer, you can send it to me through your WhatsApp, okay, and I will try to clear them as soon as possible. So student, today is the last video of the first chapter. In this chapter we will discuss about removing the weeds, okay. So the first thing that comes to your mind is, what is the meaning of weed, okay. So the unwanted plants which grow along with a cultivated crop are called weeds, okay. So you must have seen that some unnecessary plants, okay, some unwanted plants, okay, which we are not intentionally growing them, okay, but still they are found in our fields, okay. Those plants are known as weeds, okay. Those plants are known as weeds. And students, weeds are a kind of we can say it produces a kinds of loss for our crop production, because if the weeds are present in our fields, okay, and the crops are also there, okay, then when we will do the watering purpose, okay, when we will water the plants, water our crops, what will happen? The weeds will also consume that water. Again, the weeds will occupy the space in the field, okay. Again, it will take the nutrients from the soil, okay, and ultimately what will happen? The yield of our crop will decrease, the production of our crop will decrease, okay. And if crop production decreases, then obviously it is a kind of loss for us, okay. So weeds should be removed from our fields, okay. What are the common type of weeds that are found in our fields? That is wild oat, grass, and amaranthus, chenopodium, okay. So these are the common type of weeds that are found in our fields, okay. Again, when we remove those weeds, okay, the process of removing the weeds or the unwanted plants from our fields is known as weeding, is called weeding, okay. And means the best time for the removal of weed is before they produce flowers and seeds, okay. The weeds, they are growing in your field, okay, and before they produce flower we should remove them, because once they produce flower, then that flower will have that pollen grain, and the pollen grain will fall into the soil field, and again it will grow into a tree, into a plant, okay, into a weed, new weed will be formed. So what is the what will be better? If we remove those weeds before they flower, okay, because before they produce flower, okay. Again, removal of weed can be done by different methods, okay. One of the common method that we do is removal by the help of our hands, okay, by plucking the weeds with the help of our hands, okay. Removal of weeds by pulling them out with hand, this is one of the method, okay. And another method can be used, we can use a simple tool that is called a trowel, or in Hindi we say say it as a kurpa, okay. So removal of weeds by using a trowel, that can also be a process, okay. And the most common, because if the field is large, okay, in size, and the crop production is very large, in that case students, removing by hand or by using a trowel will be considered a very slow process, a time consuming process, okay. And within that time the weed would have consumed a lot of water, would have consumed a lot of nutrients from our soil, okay. So in order to make our process a bit fast, what we do now, we use some chemicals, okay, destroying the weeds by spraying special chemicals called weedicides, okay. Like killing the insects, we have insecticides. In a similar way, for killing the weeds we have weedicides. These are chemicals. When we spray these chemicals, okay, then what will happen? The weeds will die, the crop will remain safe. The chemicals are of such nature, okay, that they only damage to the weeds, okay, they do only damage to the weeds and not to the crops, okay. Some of the common weedicides or the chemicals which are available in the market are 2,4-D and MCPA and butachlor, okay, butachlor. You can note down the names, that is 2,4 hyphen capital D, it is a chemical which is used as a weedicide. The another one is MCPA, and the third one is butachlor, BUTACHLOR, okay. So these are the chemicals which are used to destroy the weeds, okay. After the weeds are destroyed, okay, and the crop has grown up, the crop has matured, okay, the crop is now ripening, okay, So the next process is to cut the crop, okay, and gather it. That process, that is the sixth step of agriculture or crop production, that is harvesting. It is a very important process, okay. So the cutting and gathering of matured food crop is called harvesting. The cutting and gathering of matured, those crops which are already in the ripened state, okay, those who have already ripened, those crops, the mature crops will be cut and they will be gathered, okay. How would you know that the crop has matured or not? Look, for instance, I will give one example. You must have seen, okay, you must have seen in the fields the crop production of rice, okay. When the rice crops are in the initial stage, they look in which color? They look green in color, okay. Once they are mature, the color changes to golden yellow, okay, something like that, okay. Similar case, in case of similar situation, similar color changes is seen in case of wheat crops, okay. Initially they are green, and when they mature, when they ripen up, they change their color, and the color changes to golden, okay. So what we have to do, we have to cut the crops, okay, from the field and gather them in a place, okay. Now the problem is that the crop which we have cut and the crop which we have gathered has chaff, okay. Chaff is the outer cover which is present along with the grain, okay, in that crop, okay. So we need to remove that outer cover so that we will be able to take that grain, okay. For example, in case of rice, you can see the rice is inside, okay, and in the outside of rice there is a cover that is called chaff, okay. So we need to remove that chaff, we need to remove that outer covering, and that is done by the process called threshing, okay. That is done by the process called threshing, okay. Earlier students, for the process of harvesting and threshing, we were doing it by our hands, okay. We were doing it manually, okay, by using for the purpose of harvesting, we were using a tool that is called a sickle, okay, that is called a sickle, okay. And for the process of harvesting, nowadays we are using a machine that is called harvester, okay. And as we know that after harvesting the crop, after taking out the crop, cutting the crop and gathering them in one place, the next process is to thresh them, to remove the outer cover from the grain, okay, so that we can consume that grain, okay. That process is called what? No, threshing, okay. Earlier threshing was also done manually, okay, but nowadays there are motorized machine called thresher also used for the process of threshing, okay. Nowadays what we are using machines, okay. Look, machines will make the work fast, okay, machines will make the work easy, and obviously it will consume fuel, but the work will become very fast, okay. And after threshing, the process of threshing is over, okay. Suppose the grain and the chaff, they are the grain is taken out of the chaff, okay, the grain is taken out of the chaff, but still the chaff and grains are intermixed with each other, okay. So finally we need to remove the chaff from the grain, okay, remove the chaff from the grain. And how do we do that? We do that by different processes. One of the most traditional process is winnowing, okay. You must have seen in village areas that farmers, they used to hold a a substance that is made up of bamboos, okay, bamboo tree, okay. They used to show it in front of a fan, or if air is flowing, that is wind is flowing, okay, then that chaff will be blown away along with the air, and the remaining portion will be the grain, okay. That process is known as winnowing. The process of separating grain from chaff and hay with the help of wind is called winnowing, okay. So you can note down that what is winnowing. That is the process of separating grain from the chaff and the hay by the help of wind is known as winnowing. Okay. But recently, in recent days, one new machine, the name of the machine is combines, okay. Combines, why the name is given over here combines? Because combine means adding things, okay. So a single machine will do the work of harvesting, will do the work of threshing, and will do the work of winnowing, okay. All the processes will be done by one single machine, okay. That is why the name of the machine is combine. It is nowadays largely used in developed countries, in our countries also, in the states like Punjab and Haryana, which are very much dependent on agriculture and which are very much advanced in agriculture. They are also using these machines, okay. After the processes are over, okay, what is a combine? If someone asks you what is a combine, is a huge machine which cuts the standing cereal crop like wheat in the fields, threshes it, and separates the chaff from the grain in one operation. Okay, so it will do the process of harvesting, it will do the process of threshing, and finally it will separate the chaff, that is the outer cover, from the grain. Okay, the grain and chaff will get separated. Okay, and another thing, okay, the leftovers, okay, whatever is left, okay, the burning of stubs of crops plants in the field causes air pollution. Okay, you must have seen that in Delhi. It is a big problem of pollution. There is a big problem of pollution, and one of the main reason is the burning of stub, okay, the leftover of, because you know that Delhi is very much close to Punjab and Haryana. Okay, and Punjab and Haryana, those are means on those states agriculture is means done in a very large scale, and when the stubs are burnt, it produces smoke, and that smoke travels from Punjab and from Haryana up to Delhi, and they mix up with the means the fog over there, and they form smog and causes a lot of air pollution. The burning of stubs in the field may cause accidental fire to the harvested crop lying in the fields and damage it. Okay, sometimes the burning of the stubs, the leftovers, okay, means they can damage the harvested crops, because harvested crops will also be there, and the leftover, that stubs will also be there, and if we burn the stub and accidentally suppose the harvested crop catches fire, then our whole crop will get damaged. Okay, so burning should be avoided. Okay. Then harvest festivals. When the crops mature and become ready to be harvested, the fields turn golden yellow. Okay, the sight of golden fields of standing crops laden with grains fill the heart of the farmers with joy. The period of harvest is of great joy and happiness in all parts of India. Men and women celebrate the harvest season in the form of festivals. Okay, so obviously the farmers, they have worked very hard, okay, in growing the crops, and when their crops turns golden yellow, that means when their crops gets matured, okay, the farmers, they become very happy after seeing those crops. Okay, and before harvesting or the period of harvesting, okay, they celebrate it as a festival. Okay, they celebrate it as a festival in order to show their happiness and joy. Men and women celebrate harvest season in the form of festivals. Okay, the special festivals in India associated with harvest season are Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, okay, and Bihu. Okay, these are different festivals which are associated with the harvest season. Okay, now once the means the crop is harvested, it is means threshing process is over, and the separation of chaff from the grain is done. Okay, that means we have that edible grain which we needed. Okay, all the processes are over. Finally, the time comes to think about storing them. Okay, think about storing them. Okay, so the food grains like wheat obtained by harvesting the crops are dried in the sunshine before storing to reduce their moisture. Okay, so before storing the grains, they are dried up in the sun. Okay, in the sunlight. Okay, because if they are stored directly, then they contain moisture. We don't want moisture to be we don't want that moisture filled grain to be stored directly. Then what we do, we keep them in sunlight. The moisture will vaporize, the moisture will go into the air. Okay, and the and the grain will become dried. Okay, because the higher moisture contained in food grains promotes the growth of fungus and molds on the stored grains, which damages them. Okay, so why don't we need this moisture? Because moisture, if present in high concentration, if it is present in high percentage, okay, if moisture is present in a more amount, then what will happen? Now it will the grain will tend to the fungus will tend to develop on the grain. Okay, molds will be formed on the grain, and the grain will become unsuitable for consumption. Okay, human consumption. Okay, so various ways are there in order to protect the crops from getting damaged. Okay, the farmers store the dried food grains at home in metal bins and jute bags, or called gunny bags. Okay, dried neem leaves are used for storing food grains at home. Okay, so what the farmers, they do when they store those grains at homes, they used to put some neem leaves. Okay, neem has a herbal nature of killing insects, and it prevents the formation of molds and fungus. Okay, when wheat is stored at home in iron drums, okay, then some dried neem leaves are put in it. Okay, dried neem leaves protect the stored food grains from pests such as insects and microorganisms. Okay, so neem leaves, it act as a protector and protect the grain from insects as well as from microorganisms. Okay, so we use the large scale storage of food grains is done in two ways. Okay, when we need to store a huge amount of grains, okay, then we use two kinds of methods. One is that in gunny bags, okay, and in the other process is that in grain silos. Okay, in grain silos, the most common method of storing food grains on a large scale is to fill them in gunny bags, stitch the mouth of the gunny bags tightly, and keep these gunny bags one over the other in big godowns. Okay, pesticide solutions are sprayed on the stacked gunny bags in the godown from time to time to protect the grains from damage by pests during the storage. Okay, so you must have seen those bags, right? The bags in which wheat is available, the bags in which rice is available. Okay, those bags are known as gunny bags. So the huge amount of crop which has been harvested, the grain, they are poured into those gunny bags. Okay, the gunny bags are stitched, their mouths are stitched, and they are laid one over another. Okay, in addition to gunny bag method of storing food grains, the grain silos are also used for storing food grains on large scale. Okay, the grain silos are specially designed big and tall cylindrical structures. Okay, so grain silos, what are those grain silos? These are huge structures in which containers, we can say. Okay, big containers in which the grains are stored. Okay, the grain silos have inbuilt arrangement for the protection of stored food grains from pests and microorganisms, and their chemicals are there in grain silos which protects the grain from microorganisms and insects. Okay, so this is all about storing the food grains. Finally, the last topic of this chapter, that is food from animals. Okay, though we get most of our food from crop plants, animals also provide us food. Okay, most of the food we get from crop plants like wheat, rice, maize. Okay, all these things we get from crops, that is plants. But animals also provide food. The food provided by animals consists of milk, eggs, and meat. Okay, the food obtained from animals is very rich in protein. In fact, animal food provides certain proteins which are not present in plant foods. Okay, so animal means the food which we get from the animals, they are rich in protein, and as per the book is concerned, it says that there are some proteins which are never found in a plant, but they are present only in animal food. Okay, most of the food obtained, however, contains minerals and vitamins. The food obtained from animals is more expensive than that obtained from plant sources. The animal which provide us food are mainly of two types. Okay, so the animals from which we get food are of two types. One is milk yielding elements or milch animals. Okay, the other one is meat and egg yielding animals. One animal is there which provides only milk, and the other animal is there from which we can get meat as well as egg. The example of milk yielding animals or milch animals are cow, buffalo, and goat. Okay, milk is a perfect natural diet. Milk and its products, called dairy products like butter, ghee, curd, and cheese, are highly nutritious food. The examples of meat and egg yielding animals are goat, sheep, fish, and poultry. That is, in poultry we can get chicken, hen, duck. Okay, out of these animals, goat, sheep, and fish gives us meat. Poultry gives us meat as well as eggs. Okay, so poultry gives us meat as well as eggs, and whereas goat, sheep, and fish, they gives us only meat. Okay, honey is another nutritious food obtained from animals. It is obtained from insects called bees. Okay, honeybee. Okay, they provide us honey. Okay, finally, the topic is animal husbandry. Okay, just as each crop has its own requirements and proper soil irrigation, manures and fertilizers and weedicides, in the same way each domestic animal has its own need of food. Okay, so when we do something on a large scale, okay, when we grow crops on a large scale, it is called crop production. And when we the branch of agriculture, okay, animal husbandry. What is animal husbandry? The branch of agriculture, it is also a branch of agriculture because it is providing us food. Okay, the branch of agriculture which deals with the feeding, shelter, health, and breeding of domestic animal is called animal husbandry. Okay, so animal husbandry is a combination of different processes, such as the first process is what? The branch of agriculture. Note it down. The branch of agriculture which deals with the feeding, shelter, breeding of domestic animals is called animal husbandry. Okay, the various practices necessary for raising animals for food and other purposes are proper feeding of the animals. If we want to start an animal husbandry, we will keep animals and we need to provide them food. Okay, so proper feeding of animals should be there. Proper shelter for animals should be there. Animals should not be allowed to roam here and there. Okay, we should make shelters for them so that they can stay safe from sunlight, from heat, from rain, from winter. They can also get protected. Okay, So proper shelter for animals should be given. Prevention and cure of animal diseases. Okay, you must have seen that the vet, okay, the veterinary doctors, the doctors of animals, okay, they should be appointed, okay, and a routine checkup of the animals should be done, okay, so that they will be the diseases can be prevented. And proper breeding of animals, okay, the breeding, that is increasing the number of animals, but that is reproduction of animals, okay, that proper breeding should be done, okay. Milk giving animals like cows and buffaloes are reared on small scale in rural homes. On a large scale they are reared in big dairy farms, okay. So in our country, in India, okay, uh, many of the houses in the village areas, when you will go, you will find that those houses, they used to rear these cows, buffaloes and goats, okay. uh, they give us milk, okay, goat gives us meat, okay. And when they are reared, when they are raised up, when they are grown up in a large scale, many cows are there, many buffaloes are there, many goats are there, then we say it as a what, dairy farm, we say it as dairy farm. Finally, moving on to our last food, that is fish, okay. So fish is an important source of animal food. Many people living in the coastal areas consume fish as a major part of their diet, okay. Fish is rich in proteins. It is highly nutritious and easily digestible food. Fish liver oil is rich in vitamin A, okay, and vitamin D. For example, cod liver oil or cod fish liver oil is rich in vitamin A and vitamin D, okay. So fish is also means a major food in the for the persons, for the people who are living in the coastal regions, okay. And the fish, what it provides, it is an easily digestible food, okay, it can be digested very easily. And on the other hand, it provides us with vitamins such as vitamin A and vitamin D, okay. The cod liver oil, okay, that provides us vitamin A and vitamin D. So fish is a very good animal which provides us food. So this was your first chapter. Hope you all understood it. And lastly, I would like to say, as you all know that you are having your exams starting from 25th, and your science paper, I hope it is on 30th of May. So your work, your duty starts now, that you have to write all the exercises, you have to write down the notes from your books, and make sure no doubt is left. If you are having any doubt, then you can consult me and get your doubt cleared within the time you are having, okay. So that's all for today from my side, okay. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.